Hey, you're watching? Hey everybody, and welcome back to Live, Love, Lang. On this channel, we teach you how to get abroad and how to learn multiple languages. So today I am sitting here at my desk to do a review of a very well-known application, and that is Duolingo. I said that I would get to this video quite a long time ago, and I decided that I really wanted to do it because there's a lot of features of Duolingo's desktop version that I didn't realize were also part of the applications before, and now I'm much more a supporter of Duolingo than I ever was before. So let's get into the video. The first thing is to describe to you what Duolingo is all about. Basically, Duolingo is a memorization application that most people use on their phones on the go. Pretty much, it's something that helps you translate. So you get a sentence and you change it into another language based on words. Like this word matches with that word matches with this word. And through repetition-based learning, you're able to memorize the language. There's also a not partner, but kind of like sister application that Duolingo also has, which is called the Tiny Cards, that also uses repetition to help you memorize vocabulary. That's what it's all about. So first I want to tell you all of the good things that I felt about Duolingo. So the first good thing is it's great for memorizing vocabulary. So I'm the kind of person that you already know, I hate lists, I hate forced memorizing vocabulary. I feel like there needs to be some kind of context for you to really memorize a word comfortably, and Duolingo does provide that context. It gives a lot of interesting sentences and a lot of interesting uses and like really funny stuff. I have lots of screenshots that I'm sure I'll be able to put on the screen to show you. Makes things very interesting, and when you're simultaneously translating these sentences, not only are you practicing sentences that you could actually use, it's very good for memorizing vocabulary. The second good thing is it's a very good introduction to a language. So I find that at the beginning it's very hard to just dive into a language. You don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to practice, and you certainly can't, or you feel like you can't, just jump into conversations because you're just not proficient enough to do that. Duolingo is a happy in-between medium, I feel, that really helps you to put yourself out there and write full sentences, speak into the microphone, all of these different things, and really give you a great foundation or a good starting place with the language. Number 3, it is very good to keep yourself immersed in the language. Immersed. I say this because it's always at the touch of a button, it's always at your fingertips, you can use it all the time. There's so much time that you waste in a day while traveling, while in waiting rooms, while in lines. If you just jump on Duolingo, it really helps keep that language on the brain, in your mind's eye 24/7, and that's really what language learning is about. So the fact that Duolingo aids this process, I think, is phenomenal. It has a very good community. So many people use Duolingo. Duolingo has now become very popular, and there are community forums where you can ask questions and talk. Of course, there are many places to do that, and later I will be reviewing other apps that you're able to do that as well. But I find that Duolingo does give you that community sense that's although it's an application for just you, doesn't completely isolate you, as well as you have the scoreboards to the side, which I think is also really great because it helps to encourage you to use the application more often when you see that your friends are doing things so much faster than you are. Okay, so that's it for my good points, so now I'm gonna go to my bad points. And of course, most of these are just weaknesses, they're not necessarily a reason to not use the application. I myself use the application very often, so don't get discouraged, but keep these things in mind when you think about how you want to use Duolingo, how much importance, how much time, these kind of things when you're talking about your language learning journey. The first bad thing, I think, is it can't be your only main source, and that is that Duolingo, a lot of people use Duolingo as their, their end all, their source all. When I was in high school, they wanted it to be the main for Spanish, and it just truly isn't that kind of application. It's something to help you practice, it's something to keep it on the mind, it's something to help you help you use what you learn, but it simply is not a main text or a main grammar guide or an audio lesson. It just simply cannot be those things. So if you are learning a certain language, please look for something that you can use as your main source and don't think that you can do it on Duolingo alone. Number 2, it doesn't give complete explanations of grammar. So I am more than I thought before. There is a lot of grammar explanations on Duolingo actually. Although it explains and introduces you to things, it is not enough to fully understand everything. It's better than some things. For example, I actually think that Swedish Duo explained grammar to me better than Swedish Pod 101, which is a crying shame. But yes, it simply does not explain everything in detail, and that's why, once again, it cannot become your main source. Number 3, Duolingo can't teach you natural phrase patterns or slangs. And this goes to any program that's kind of building on a logarithm, sorry, no, not a logarithm, an algorithm, a language learning, something like that. It cannot teach you natural flow. And this goes especially for Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. I have tried all 3 of them on the Duolingo app, and it is very choppy and not really that natural. Of course, it helps to keep it on the brain, and I still think it's a good practice tool. However, for Asian languages especially, Duolingo is a bit unnatural, and you have to watch out for that. I wouldn't recommend it to someone who doesn't have a strong foundation already. And the last thing that I don't love about Duolingo is that it really focuses more on writing than it does focus on speaking. And of course, you know that I strongly feel that speaking is the most important part of a language, and that's where you should start. Even if that's not your end goal, you should start with speaking if you plan to speak at all. It's more of writing. Anything that's connected to translation or memorizing words as it connects to your mother tongue is definitely targets the side of your brain that will be better at writing than your actual communicatory skills, your communication skills. So that's definitely a downside. Once again, it just cannot be the only thing you're using. I guess that's my biggest takeaway from this.
Ice cream is the best medicine.
Okay, so here we are. This is Duolingo, and I'm gonna show you on Swedish because that's generally what I use Duolingo for. But as you can see, you can switch. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so here's my profile. And you can see I have Swedish, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Spanish, Italian, and Hungarian, which I haven't actually done, but I thought it would be fun just because I saw that they added it. It's the language that Daenerys speaks on Game of Thrones, by the way, if you didn't know. But anyway, yeah, so I have all of that here. And yeah, so you can switch between whatever you want, but right now I'm gonna just keep going with Swedish. If you hear my roommate singing in the background, I apologize. What I like about the desktop version is that you can say things a lot easier, like you can type in, I don't know, I find the desktop version to just be a lot better in general than the phone app. But let's try something.
I Sverige talar man svenska.
Okay, so in Sweden you speak Swedish.
Har du något paraply?
Har du något paraply? And here's the other thing too about these speaking into the application. I don't know why, but it doesn't work on my phone app. I don't know if someone can help me. I don't know why, but it just, even though there's the option to turn on and turn off, I've done it so many times and it doesn't let me do this on my phone. But I think this is one of my favorite features of Duolingo actually, because once you speak into it, it helps to kind of solidify that information in your brain and kind of move you a little bit closer to being able to speak, and I really like that.
Dessa. Människor. Behöver. Vatten. Å.
Oops.
Mat. Å. Vatten.
You know, if you don't know a word, you just scroll over it and it will tell you what it is. So, hallå.
Hallå. Dessa böcker är mina.
Dessa böcker är mina. Anyway, you get the point, but this is basically what it's like how the application works, and it's the same kind of feeling on the phone. So, let me show you the special features that I like and what makes Duolingo a great tool for even self-study. Okay, so when you click on these, instead of starting the lesson immediately, you can click on this little light bulb, and if you click on the light bulb, you get this tips and notes for the lesson. And basically it's your grammar explanation. Basically, you know, it gives you a pretty good explanation, and I actually also really like whoever writes these, because I always find it's pretty interesting the way that they write, the kind of vernacular that they use. So yeah, before I didn't know that this existed actually. And so I thought that Duolingo was really just like a practice ploy. I didn't know that it had all of these notes and that it was a legitimate course. So if you are planning to use Duolingo as a very, you know, as close to a main source, then you definitely need to tap into this this stuff. And of course they have them for every language, so yeah, make sure you get into it. Also, if there's something that you don't understand, for example, there are, let me show you. Okay, so I got it correct, but say there is something that I wanted to know, like why is this någon and not några, for example, I don't know, if I wanted to say something like that. There's this discuss section here. This is kind of the community I was talking about. If you click into here, there's a lot of comments that explain why you can say this and what exactly it's talking about. And you know, this is, you know, not necessarily a sentence that you would need to know, but there have been sentences where I didn't understand why I got why I got that translation wrong. And when I came into this discussion, it was very informative and explained to me what's going on. So yeah, for example, this maybe, why isn't vem som helst, right? If you wanted to know the difference. And now you know, right? You know, this kind of thing. So once you tap into the Duolingo community, you'll find that there's a lot of things to help you. So I really suggest that you make use of this part of Duolingo and not just use the you know, the main part, the study part.
Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I hope you did. If it helped you out a little bit, you can decide whether or not you want to use Duolingo or how you're going to use Duolingo. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up down below. Leave me comments in the comment section below about your experience about Duolingo or any other applications you would like me to talk about. If you want to check out my daily life in Japan and other videos about Japanese culture or whatnot, or I don't know, other stuff. I talk about lots of other stuff on my personal channel, and also the Yuaga Pies, where I am co-hosting with Leo on that channel. So if you want to check those out, then it'll be in the description box below. Otherwise, I hope to see you in our next video. Subscribe, and and if you wanna, you know, love me up and butter me sweet even more, the Patreon link for us is down below as well. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.